to me or you or anybody else.
We're going to nuke Western Europe if you move your missiles in.
No, that's not what they said. No, what they said was, look, if you're going to surround us with missile bases, we are going to target Western Europe capitals with cruise missiles.
Yeah, with nukes, yeah.
Which your missile bases can't do anything about. And not only that, we're going to target your missile bases with cruise missiles. And so your missile bases won't be there either. And so what the Russians are saying is that what you're doing is utterly stupid because it's not going to do you any good. And yet you're raising tensions. And so why don't you stop? That's what the Russians keep saying. They're not threatening that they're going to blow anybody up. They're just saying, look, we have these offsetting steps. We'd rather not spend the money doing this. We have better uses for it domestically. But if you're going to surround us with anti-ballistic missile bases in order to neutralize our nuclear deterrent, we will simply put the warheads on cruise missiles that your anti-ballistic missiles cannot touch because they're flying low over the ground, the cruise missiles, and we'll target all the European capitals.
Sure, but if you go back to 888, remember that, they did have their chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff said, if you don't pull back, we've just rolled nukes in. My point is they're going into a very aggressive stance again. Well,
I think that they're caught on, and they're not going to sit there and take it, and they're taking... The aggressive stance comes from the United States.
Oh, I understand, but I'm saying it's a major escalation.
They are initiating all of the trouble, all of the aggression, and they have now said that they have responses that can offset whatever advantage we expect to get from these bases. So why don't we just quit doing it now so everybody doesn't waste their money? And so we can get over this.
But there's also cruise missiles launched off submarines the Russians have.
Well, no doubt. They probably won't need them. But the point is, I don't think the Russians want a nuclear war. I'm not sure about the neoconservatives. I think I recall seeing a video of William Crystal in some debate or something in which he says, what's the good of nuclear missiles if you can't use them?
Yeah, I remember that.
So, in fact, if you do remember it in your vast files, if you can find that, I sure would like to have the URL to it, because
we'll look that up. William Crystal says, what's the point of nuclear weapons if you can't use them? That's like saying, hey, why not just drop your kid into a wood chipper? What's the point of having a 2-year-old if you can't drop him into a wood chipper? I mean, it's just total madness. Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, love the site, paulcraigroberts.org. Thank you for letting us carry your work there at Infowars.com. And I did have a question for you that I meant to ask you when we were off air. But what I'll do is we're about to go to break here in just a few minutes. If you could stay on Skype, I had one more question for you off air, if that's okay.
Okay, Alex.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today. There goes Dr. Paul Craig Roberts. We're going to break here in just a few minutes. I said that if police officers wanted to call in to give us their take on Obama saying go on strike, Obama's surrogate, Bloomberg saying go on strike, Freudian slip there, if we don't ban our guns, and Michael Moore saying take all guns but black powder, a single shot, that's illegal. And they've come out in the news, CBS News has pointed out that is against New York law. So is this not holding people hostage? And I asked for police officers to call in, 800-259-9231. We're going to take one call and go to break, and then we are going to continue with your calls. Lawrence in New Jersey, a police officer. What do you think of Bloomberg saying police should go on strike nationwide until the people turn in their guns?
I think it's an absolute disgrace. Hello?
Yeah, sorry. I have a plug that goes in here, and it's too small, and it keeps coming out, so I couldn't hear you at first. Go ahead.
I apologize.
No, that's my fault.
I think it's a disgrace. I think it's a testament to our poor leadership that we have running this country. He's supposed to be a senior leader of over, I don't know how many millions of people in New York City, and he comes out and he says something like this for his entire police force to say. I honestly don't see how anybody under his chain of command could respect him after something like that. I couldn't. I mean, I'm former military, and I'm currently a police officer here in New Jersey. You know, that to me is a disgrace. You can't walk away from your responsibility like that. You can't incite people to walk away from their responsibility like that. I just don't see any excuse for it.
Well, it's illegal, and it is calling on basically terrorizing people in cities where they've been disarmed, like New York. Can you imagine if the police, even though they're famously corrupt there in New York, a lot of them are good people still, can you imagine if the police disappeared? I mean, people are getting mugged left and right when the police are there. Can you imagine if the biggest police force in the country disappeared and the public can't protect themselves, what the hoodlums would do? As a police officer right across the water from them, what do you think would happen?
I could tell you exactly what would happen. You'd have martial law. You would have to have martial law. That'd be the only next best option, is they would have to mobilize probably units in the National Guard and get them out there on the street right away.
But he's saying nobody should be there. He's saying nobody should be there. So what would the criminals do? They would start looting, and somebody had the idea to set things on fire. And I would guarantee within 6 hours of police walking off in L.A. or New York or Chicago, the city would be on fire.
Oh, it'd be mayhem. It would definitely be mayhem. I don't work in a large department like that, but I could tell you that, especially on the weekends, it gets kind of crazy. And without us being around, I mean, there would be very few. There would be no law and order. It would be a free for all. And you know, we have to retain some semblance of order for something like this. I mean, it's just unbelievable that somebody that high up in government would actually say something like that out in public. You know,
Thank you so much, Lawrence. Anything you'd like to add?
Well, you know, I'm watching your show, and you know, I see you bring up a lot of topics like this. And the one thing that I would like to bring into this is, you know, we're seeing a lot of dependence on automation these days.
Stay there. I want to hear about this after the break, and then more police officers. All right, I open the phones up for this little segment, the next one, 800-259-9231. Does this show you how criminal these people are? If you think I'll sit around while these criminals overrun us, I'm not going along with it. Okay? They ship guns to Mexico to create bedlam in a disarmed society. Now, in some small town in Texas or somewhere, if the police stood down, nothing would really happen. In most cases, there would definitely be some problems. But if you had them stand down in New York where you got 10 million people and they're disarmed and you got the biggest population of criminals there to suck off welfare and everything, they're going to start raping and robbing and pillaging in hours. If the announcement's made no cops, banks would be robbed instantly. Instantly, bank robberies would start. Robberies of everything. Looting of Walmarts. It would be, and then people start torching stuff. Guaranteed the arsonist would go insane. Then they'd start shooting the fire department because they wouldn't stand down. Now, I'm ranting, and I apologize for that. Lawrence, you were going to finish your point about automation, police officer in New Jersey. Go ahead.
Yes. You know, you speak a lot about drones being used and these type of things. And in my position, I've never seen this, although I'm really not for it, especially being a former military officer. I'm also now seeing here in New Jersey, they're going with these red light cameras, and they haven't instituted photo radar, but a lot of people feel that that's next. You know, I think the automation that they're using is just one more way of them keeping tabs on things, and it's becoming a reach into people's pockets.
No, it's all federally paid for and has a back door, and they're going to phase out police for actually out there doing things and only use you to be political minders. That's the official plan. Automated, autonomous drones are already in the sky. Humans aren't going to be in combat within 10 years under DARPA public plans. Humans will work on robots, and you might have some special forces for certain duties going up against other humans. But it's going to be reign of the robots. That is their public plan.
You know, there's no honor in it. And, you know, especially when it comes to, police work, you need to have discretion. When you've got a camera that just snaps a picture of somebody who may have, one guy brought up a legitimate point last night on a local radio station. He says, what happens if I have to move out of I guess you could say
ambulance,
emergency vehicle, an ambulance or something, and I cross the line. I get snapped. You know, now I got
no, that's come out. Listen, they're illegal. You've got to have a sworn peace officer give the citation. It doesn't stand up in court, but they don't care. They just, it's been thrown out in a lot of areas, but you can't have citations being sent that weren't signed by. Look, we're allowing the globalists to cut humans out of the equation, and yes. Red light cameras are horrible. These face scanning ones, all of it is going to be the end of us. The globalists admit it's about getting humans out of the equation so that we can't say no to them. This is the plan. This is the total takeover plan.
Honestly, I mean, if I'm very limited in what I can do. I could speak my feelings about it, you know, and it's up to people like you to go out there and expose it and get enough people riled up to change the law. You know,
yeah, it's really bad. Yeah, they do. They're a bunch of crooks. Well, what happens is the local ones get promoted up if they sell people out. And again, the buck stops with the people. We've gotten lazy. We've gotten stupid. We've gotten drunk on entertainment. We've gotten in a trance state. We got to come out of it. But soon, the buck won't stop with us. They're going to have an automated control grid in where the computers close the highways. That's the plan. Derek and Steve, police officers, straight ahead. Former Congressman Bob Barr is joining us, and then we have some incredible medical information coming up in the last 30 minutes. Bob Barr coming up here in just a moment. We have big breaking news on the TSA front up at Infowars.com as they fan out nationwide. The story's also top story, middle column of DrudgeReport.com. Finishing up with the police officers. Got time to take two more here from Derek and then Steve. A bunch of others are ringing. Let's talk to Steve, who's a police officer in Texas, listening on 1630 AM. I've got so many affiliates. Is that what area is 1630? I forget.
I'm actually out of Fort Worth, sir.
Okay, yeah, great affiliate up there. Wonderful people. That's who I thought. What's the call letters again?
I'm not sure what the call letters are. I just know that it's 1630 AM.
I know we need to plug all those folks. Anyways, I apologize for bumbling around. What is your take on hearing Bloomberg tell police nationwide to stand down and let old ladies get raped?
Well, I believe, like you said, in a large city, that's something, because I'm actually, I work for the district attorney out here in Tarrant County. And pretty much I left a large department because it's very politicized at the large departments. The smaller departments really don't believe in a lot of the things that the globalists are pretty much pushing. But what I've learned is that the larger departments, mainly like the Dallas and Fort Worth departments, they pretty much they're more politics than actual law enforcement. But I believe it'll be a complete mess for the larger cities.
Yeah, I mean, in L.A., if the police stood down, people would start robbing immediately. Can you imagine Los Angeles if the police walked off the job?
Well, I remember there was a situation because I actually moved out here from Arizona, and I was a state trooper out there in Arizona, and I remember there were a lot of situations out there where they pretty much were kind of pushing the law enforcement officers to not really enforce certain things, and basically leave it up to the citizens. And the citizens believe in not being armed and things of that nature. So we were getting a lot of situations where people were pretty much desperate. And I believe that'll be a situation in New York or any of the Los Angeles or even Dallas or Fort Worth areas where there's a larger population that pretty much believes that they shouldn't have the right.
Exactly. No, I mean, imagine if Bloomberg had the police stand down in New York where the people are sitting ducks. I mean, where I live out in the country outside Austin, cops want to stand down, go ahead. Somebody comes up, rob me, they're deader than a hammer. But can you imagine in New York with all those domesticated people? Oh, man, I tell you, that would be really bad. But I guess he's kind of a criminal at heart, so he'd like to see that hell on earth. Bloomberg is such a criminal. You know, they admit what he said is criminal, but he won't get any trouble for it. God bless you, sir. Good to hear from you. Derek is in California, police officer in training. What's your take on all this?
I think this is absolutely ridiculous, and I've been talking to a lot of people in the force and a lot of officers that I've known for a while, and they absolutely agree with me, agree with everything you're saying, and there's just two things that I don't know. I think that people are missing, especially in big cities like Los Angeles or anything, is that, you know, you get rid of everything, and like you've already said, it'd just be pandemonium. Like, it already is